Rian woke up with a start. Something soft touched his arm, and then a small nip followed. It was not painful, but strange. He opened his eyes slowly and saw a little figure sitting beside his bed. The figure was small, no taller than a child, with rough, greenish skin and big round eyes that shine in the dim light of the space station. Rian blinked. "What are you?" he asked quietly. The little creature looked at him with curiosity. It had a thin mouth that formed a shy smile, and small pointed ears that twitched like a cat's. Its hands were thin with long fingers. Rian noticed the creature's skin had small patches that looked like tiny scales or bumps. It looked strange to him, but not scary. There was something innocent about the way it moved. The creature reached out and softly bit Rian's arm again, just a gentle nip, almost like a pet might do. Rian pulled his arm back, surprised. But he did not pull away quickly. Instead, he looked at the visitor closely. "Hey, easy," he said softly. "Are you hurt?" The alien girl shook her head slowly. She made a small sound, something like a soft chirp, and then crawled towards the bed. With surprising speed, she climbed up and curled herself into a tight ball on Rian's pillow. Rian sat up now, rubbing his arm where the bite had been. "Okay," he said. "You're not going to leave, are you?" The little alien girl blinked slowly and gave a small nod. She closed her eyes, already asleep on his pillow as if she had lived there all her life. Rian felt a mix of confusion and curiosity. How did this strange creature get onto the space station? Was she alone? Was she dangerous? He looked around his small room for anything unusual, but everything seemed normal. The air was still, the light soft, and the hum of the stations. Engine steady. Outside, through the small window, he could see stars shining. The station orbited a planet far away from Earth, where no humans had lived before. It was quiet, except for the soft breathing from the alien girl now resting on his bed. Rian knew he needed to tell someone, but he also didn't want to scare the creature. "What should I do?" he whispered to himself. "Do I call the captain? Or the security team?" He gently touched the alien girl's head. Her skin felt cool and rough under his fingers. She stirred but did not wake. For a moment, Rian felt strange warmth in his chest, like he wanted to protect her, not get rid of her. Suddenly, a voice came from the room's speaker. "Rian, are you there? We have a security alert from Sector 7. Please report immediately." Rian sighed and stood up carefully, not wanting to wake his visitor. "Okay, I'm coming," he said aloud. He looked back once more at the little alien girl still sleeping on his bed. "I'll figure this out," he promised. He left the room and walked down the narrow hallways of the station. His footsteps echoed softly against the metal floor. Around him, crew members hurried about, checking screens and speaking in low voices. When he reached the control room, the captain was already there, looking serious. "Rian," the captain said, "we have an unknown life form on board. Our sensors picked up movement in the living quarters. Security is searching now." Rian nodded and kept the secret about the alien girl to himself. "I saw her," he said quietly. "She's small and different. Not dangerous, I think." The captain raised an eyebrow. "Different how?" Rian hesitated. "She looks rough-skinned, with big eyes. She bit me, but it didn't hurt much. It seemed like a sign of trust, not attack." The captain looked thoughtful. "All right, keep her safe. But stay alert. We don't know what she wants or where she came from." Rian agreed. He returned to his room quickly. When he entered, the alien girl was awake now, sitting up and watching him with bright eyes. "Hello again," Rian said softly. "I'm Rian." The alien girl tilted her head and made a small chirping noise. Rian laughed quietly. "I guess you don't speak my language." She reached out and touched his hand lightly. The skin was rough but gentle. Then she pointed at herself and made a sound like Nix. Rian smiled. "Nix, that's a nice name." Nix smiled back and then, surprisingly, bit his arm again, not hard, just softly. Rian laughed. Okay, I get it. You like me." Nix chirped happily and crawled back to the bed. She curled up again, pulling the blanket around her like a child, Rian sat down on the chair by the bed and watched her. Somehow, this little, strange creature made him feel less alone in the vast emptiness of space. Outside the window, the stars continued to shine, silent witnesses to this unexpected meeting between two very different beings. Rian woke up the next morning feeling tired but curious. The little alien girl, Nyx, was still in his room. She had moved from his bed to a small corner near the window, sitting quietly and watching him with her big eyes. He wondered how she had survived on the station without anyone noticing. The space station was a busy place, filled with people from different planets. But no one had seen Nyx until now. How long had she been hiding? Rian decided to learn more about her. He slowly walked closer, holding out his hand gently. "Hello, Nyx," he said softly. Nyx looked at his hand for a moment, then reached out and touched his fingers with hers. Her skin was cool and rough, but her touch was careful and calm. Rian smiled. "I want to help you," he said. "But first, I need to know more." Nyx made a soft noise and pointed to herself. Then she pointed at Rian and made a similar sound. "Your name is Nyx," Rian repeated. "And I'm Rian." Nyx nodded. She tried to make words, but only strange chirps and clicks came out. Rian laughed. "We have to find a way to talk." He decided to use the station's computer to help. He typed in some simple pictures and sounds on a screen, hoping Nyx would understand. Nyx looked at the pictures and pointed to one that showed a person sleeping. Then she pointed to the bed behind Rian. "Your bed?" Rian asked. Nyx nodded quickly and smiled. Then she pointed to herself and made the gentle bite again, this time on Rian's hand. Rian laughed softly. "That's your way of saying you. Like my bed, huh?" Nyx chirped happily. Suddenly, the room's speaker crackled. "Rian, come to the control room. We need you." Rian looked at Nyx. "Wait here, okay?" Nyx nodded but looked nervous. In the control room, Rian found the captain and the security team. They were looking worried. "Rian, the station is on alert," the captain said. "Sensors picked up strange movement again. Some tools and supplies have gone missing. We think it might be related to the alien life form." Rian frowned. "I don't think Nyx is causing trouble," he said. "She seems scared, not dangerous." The captain shook his head. "We cannot be sure. You must keep an eye on her. If she causes problems, we will have to take action." Rian nodded but felt unhappy. He knew Nyx was not bad. When he returned to his room, Nyx was still there, waiting quietly. "Did they say anything?" she asked softly, not in words, but in her usual chirping sounds that somehow seemed like a question. Rian sat down next to her. "They're worried, but I believe you." Nyx reached out and gently bit his arm again. Rian smiled. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the hallway. An alarm. The station's PA voice said, "Security alert. All crew to stations." Rian's heart raced. What was happening? He stood up quickly. "Nyx, stay here," he said. Nyx looked scared. She tried to stand but hesitated. Rian took her hand. "I will protect you." They moved slowly out of the room. The hallways were full of busy people running to their posts. Rian saw a group of armed guards moving toward the storage area. They looked tense. He whispered to Nyx, "Stay close." The guards stopped near a door. Someone shouted, "We found something moving." Rian felt his pulse quicken. Could it be Nyx? Were they going to find her? Suddenly, a small object flew from the shadows, a tool thrown by someone. Rian saw Nyx hiding behind a crate. Her eyes were wide with fear. One guard shouted, "There she is!" Nyx darted away quickly, fast and small. His small room where Rian and Nyx it was quiet except for the soft hum of the station's machines. Nyx sat close to Rian, her big eyes watching every move he made. She seemed tired but alert, as if she expected danger at any moment. Rian knew he had to learn more about her. Who was she? Where did she come from? Why was she on the station? And why had the security team been so quick to search for her? He looked at Nyx and tried to ask, "Where do you come from, Nyx? Are you alone?" Nyx looked down at her hands. She made soft clicking sounds and moved her fingers in a strange way. Rian didn't understand the words, but he felt the sadness in her voice. He touched her hand gently. "It's okay. You don't have to be afraid." Nyx slowly looked up and pointed to the door, then to the window. She made a small sound and moved her lips. But no words came out. Rian thought for a moment. "You want to leave this place?" Nyx nodded. She looked at the window and then at the stars outside. It was clear she missed her home. Rian wished he could help her. But the station was not safe for Nyx. The crew did not understand her. They saw only an ugly alien, a threat to their order. As he sat there, Rian's mind raced. He remembered the missing tools and strange power drops on the station. Could Nyx have caused them? He doubted it, but he needed to be sure. "I want to check the station's records," he said finally. "Maybe I can find out if there's any sign of your people here." Nyx looked curious but nervous. She bit Rian's arm softly, a sign he had learned was her way to show trust. Rian smiled and stood up. "I'll be right back." He left the small room and went to the station's data center. The room was filled with glowing screens and blinking lights. He typed in words like alien, unknown species, and life form. For a moment, there was no result. Then, a file appeared. The screen showed images of strange creatures. Some like Nyx, but different in color and size. Rian's eyes widened. The file said the creatures were from a distant planet called Gara. They were called Garanth, a race often judged by others because of their rough skin and unusual looks. The file explained that Garanth were peaceful, but had been hunted and driven away by stronger forces. Many had fled to the far corners of space, hiding where no one could find them. Rian felt a mix of sadness and respect. Nyx was one of these Garanth, a survivor of a long and difficult journey. He returned to Nyx with the information. She listened quietly, her eyes bright but sad. "Your people, they are hunted?" Rian asked gently. Nyx nodded slowly. She bit his arm again, softly, almost like a thank you. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from the hallway. The station's security team was still searching. Rian knew they could come any moment. "We need to be careful," he whispered. Nyx looked scared but trusted him. Rian decided to take Nyx to a safer place on the station, a hidden storage room where few people went. As they moved through the corridors, Rian noticed strange glances from the crew. Some looked frightened or curious. Others avoided looking at Nyx at all. It hurt Rian to see her treated this way. "People don't understand you," he said softly. "But I do." When they reached the storage room, Rian locked the door and set up some old blankets for Nyx to rest on. She curled up and looked at him with a shy smile. Rian sat beside her. "I want to help you find a safe place," he said. "Somewhere you can be free." Nyx reached out and held his hand tightly. For the first time since she arrived, she looked hopeful. But Rian knew the station was full of shadows, secrets, and dangers hiding in every corner. He needed to protect Nyx, but how? As he sat there in the quiet room, Rian made a silent promise. No matter what happened, he would stand by Nyx. Together, they would face the challenges ahead. Outside the window, the stars kept shining, distant and bright. But for Rian and Nyx, a new light was growing, a light of friendship, trust, and hope. Rian knew he couldn't hide Nyx forever. The space station was not her home, and danger was closing in fast. Every time he thought of the security team searching the halls, he felt a cold worry grow inside him. That night, while the station's lights dimmed for rest, Rian and Nyx stayed in the hidden storage room. Nyx curled up on the blankets, looking smaller than ever. She had made the space her little den, safe from the outside world. Rian sat nearby, watching her carefully. He wondered how long it would be before someone found them. Suddenly, a sharp noise came from the hallway, a soft tapping, like someone walking quietly but with purpose. Rian stood up quickly and motioned for Nyx to stay low. "Stay here," he whispered. He moved toward the door and peered through the small window. Outside, 3 figures stood, talking in low voices. They were not station crew. Their faces were strange and hard to read, wearing dark suits with strange symbols. Rian's heart raced. These were not friendly visitors. They were bounty hunters, aliens who hunted others for reward. One of them spoke in a harsh voice. "The Garanth is here." We must find her before the station's crew takes her. Rian clenched his fists. He had to protect Nyx. He quietly closed the door and went back to her. They are here, he said softly. Bad people, they want to take you. Nyx's eyes grew wide. She bit Rian's arm softly, her way of showing trust and asking him not to be afraid. Rian nodded. I will keep you safe. He quickly looked around the room. There were old tools, broken gadgets, and spare parts scattered about. An idea formed in his mind. We will use this place as our defense, he said, together. They began working. Rian's hands moved fast, using wires and small devices to build traps and alarms. Round the door and hallway, Nyx helped too, picking up small objects and handing them to Rian, even though she could not speak his language. Her presence gave him strength. Outside, the voices of the bounty hunters grew louder. They searched the halls carefully, looking for any sign of the hidden Garanth. Rian set a small device on the floor near the door. It was a motion sensor connected to an alarm that would flash lights and make noise if anyone tried to enter. He smiled at Nyx. If they come in, the alarm will warn us. Nyx chirped happily, seeming to understand. Suddenly, the door shook. Someone was trying to open it from outside. Rian took a deep breath and held Nyx's hand. Be ready. The door pushed open slowly. A shadow appeared in the doorway. Rian threw a switch. Lights flashed bright red, and a loud alarm sounded through the corridor. The figure froze, then stepped back. The other two bounty hunters heard the alarm and rushed toward the room. Rian grabbed a small tool that looked like a flashlight but shot out a strong beam of light. He aimed it toward the door. The first hunter shouted, Stop! Don't harm her. Rian stood firm. You will not take Nyx. Not while I'm here. The hunters looked surprised but quickly recovered. They pulled out small devices, strange weapons that pulsed with energy. Rian's heart pounded. But he didn't back down. Nyx stepped beside him. Though small, she showed no fear. She reached out and gently bit Rian's arm again, giving him courage. The hunters exchanged quick glances and then lowered their weapons. The leader spoke in a rough voice. We are not here to fight. We want to talk. Rian lowered his light carefully. Talk, but no tricks. The leader nodded and stepped forward. We hunt the Garanth because some believe they have dangerous powers, but we do not want to hurt Nyx if she is peaceful. Rian looked at Nyx. She nodded slowly. Then you must leave her alone, Rian said firmly. She is not a threat. The hunters hesitated. Then the leader said, We will leave if you promise to keep her hidden from those who want to harm her. Rian agreed quickly. I promise. The hunters turned and left quietly, their dark shapes disappearing down the hallway. Rian closed the door and sighed with relief. Nyx looked up at him with gratitude, biting his arm softly again. You're safe now, Rian said with a smile. Nyx smiled back and snuggled close. That night, in the small storage room, a new trust was born. Rian had built a safe den for Nyx, a place where she could rest without fear. He knew the station was still full of challenges, but for now, they had each other. Outside the window, the stars shone brightly, silent witnesses to the brave stand-up to unlikely friends.